Hello, this is Frank Skinner. Last week, some of you will know that I ended the show by telling you that our former colleague and dear friend Gareth Richards had been in a serious road accident and was fighting for his life. And there's been lots of beautiful messages about Gareth, and his family have been very kind to us in that they've kept us informed about the details of his struggle. But look, Gareth didn't make it. Gareth didn't make it. And we will miss him intensely. He was a very kind, gentle, funny, fascinating man. And I can't believe that he... Anyway, today's show is features Gareth's best bits, and you're allowed to cry, but you have to laugh as well. I think he would have insisted upon that.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
It was National Poetry Week this week. The day was on Thursday, National Poetry Day.
I don't think I heard a single poem.
Oh, well, you should have called me. Oh. So, what I did, because my son, I've got a 7-year-old, if you're new to the show, and I know it's tedious when people talk about their kids, but there is a point to this. And he had to learn, for National Poetry Day, The Owl and the Pussycat.
Oh.
Right? It's a classic. I learnt it with him because I didn't know off by heart. It's really good to get poems off by heart. But there was... The second verse begins, "Pussy said to the owl, you elegant fowl." And he, he's a big Queen fan.
Yes.
And he started over and over again going, "Pussy said to the owl, pussy said to the owl, dun, pussy said to the owl, pussy said..." And I've been unable to get it out of my head all week. And then, of course, heard out of context, people can be slightly alarmed by him. But it just was so perfect. Pussy said to the owl. Pussy said to the owl. I thought maybe we could try Under Pressure with that as a backing thing. What do you think? Do you know the words to Under Pressure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you do lead vocal, and maybe me and Emily can do Pussy said to the owl.
Okay. Well, hang on.
What?
Yeah, all right.
Go on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pussy said to the owl. Pussy said to the owl.
Under pressure.
Pussy said to the owl.
Pushing down on me. Pushing down on you. No matter what.
Pussy said to the owl. I think we get the picture. I don't like when
I thought you said I'm depressed, sir.
When Gareth says under pressure, he really sounds like he's under pressure. It's like it's a method singing.
I was under a lot of pressure.
You were.
It sounds
It's the most under pressure anyone has ever sang. Under pressure.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Now, can I say, I know that we talked about the idea of never discussing this on air, but Gareth, we were out, we were having lunch, and Gareth mentioned something casually, and me and Emily looked at each other we were shocked. If fainting was a real thing, I might well have fainted. And I said to Gareth, Don't tell us anymore. Tell us on air.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, I don't know if I wanted to." But anyway, we've persuaded him.
Well, I don't know if it's that big a deal. It was probably the early 90s. My parents,
How old were you?
I was probably about 11 years old. My younger brothers would probably have been sort of 7 and 8, something like that.
Okay, so we've got 3 children, 11, 7 and 8.
Lovely little children.
Their parents are going on holiday without...
Yeah, well, they can't... Times were hard. It was I think we were just coming
Hence
out
the
of
holiday.
the 1980s recession. Well, they hadn't been on holiday together for long. They've had kids for 12 years.
Oh, that will happen when you have kids. They tend to hang around for a bit.
Yeah, they want to go on holiday with you. Demanding little
They They couldn't afford to take us all.
Okay.
Times were hard.
So they
My
left
dad
you
had
home alone?
Kitchen business.
Well, did they leave you with someone?
Were you home alone?
Yeah, a family they knew moved in with us
Family
Okay.
they knew.
and looked after us for the week.
Right, okay.
And they went on holiday away together. Couldn't afford to take us.
Okay, now there's 2 points here. First of all, they didn't just go down the road to Poole or something like that. They went abroad.
Yeah, they went abroad.
They went to America
Yeah.
and left the 3 young children behind. Where did they go in America, Gareth?
They went to Disney World.
It's unbelievable. Talk about rubbing their noses in it. Look, we're going on holiday, kids. Way, you're not coming. Ooh. And what's more, we're going to Disney World. What were they working as characters?
No. To be fair, my mum cried all the first day. She said,
Disney World.
In
What
Disney World.
about the other 13 days? Too busy having a good time, I suppose, on the rides and stuff. It's an incredible story.
It's
Gareth.
amazing. Did you question it at the time, or?
I think it is. It's become normal, a bit normal, but we are aware that it is quite bad. It's quite bad.
It's just, why would 2 adults... Well, do you think they were going to take you, first of all?
Maybe they were doing a recce. They thought they'd go over
Yeah.
there, see what...
Are they
I'm just
very-
giving them the benefit of the
Are
doubt.
they very health and safety conscious?
Yes.
Yeah, so they thought, we'll try a few rides, make sure it's all right.
And then they realised they didn't have enough money to take the children.
Well, it could still happen. You could still get a phone call.
Yeah.
They took us to Euro Disney.
Oh, did they?
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
When was that?
Same year, or?
Later on, when I was about 16.
Oh, so they took you to the bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took you to the cold, horrible one with the French people in it. But they went to the lovely one. Why did they go to Disney World? It doesn't make any sense.
It's weird. Did they like... I mean, were they always interested in Mickey Mouse? Or why did they choose Disney?
I think
Were
my
they...
grandma had a timeshare that's in Florida, but you can swap that to different
Oh,
places.
so the accommodation was paid for?
Accommodation was paid
Okay.
You know, can I say, you've taken me to a level of disbelief with this story that I honestly thought you were going to say, I think my granny had a time machine. That, to me, would seem less incredible than the parents going to Disney World story. That would seem like a kitchen sink drama compared
Did they
to
send you a postcard saying, wish you were here?
with Mickey Mouse on. They must have sent that.
They
Yeah.
brought us presents back.
Oh, lovely.
I think they got me the mouse from Dumbo.
Not
the little
Mickey Mouse, which is what
No,
everyone
not-
wants.
not a
and-
big-
No, I think they had that. They bought a Mickey Mouse, but that was kept in their room. You had to have the mouse, the stand-in, the mouse from Dumbo. Mouthy little creature that it was. It ain't Mickey.
I think they were doing a recce. I think that's what it was.
Is it?
Yeah, because you did end up going to Euro Disney in the end. And actually, at least, okay, you think that's bad. My father took me and my sister to a Michael Jackson concert. He went off to get 3 ice creams. He came back licking one, going, sorry, I only had enough money on me for one. That's quite bad.
It is quite... If you'd told me that story before that story, I'd have said that was a terrible, cruel treatment of young children. However, now, it seems like an act of kindness.
Oh, dear.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, something happened to me on the way home from a gig this week that was a little bit unusual. I was in a service... It was after the gig. The gig was in Andover, and I was in a service station. And the service station attendant man behind the till, said to me... He wasn't English. English was not his first language. He said to me... Well, the first thing he said to me was, are you enjoying life? And
Are you enjoying life? That's
Yeah.
a great question for a man in a garage.
Yeah, and I was in a garage in Andover, so I was like, it's okay
Okay.
at the minute. And I said, are
Do you feel
you?
he was lonely?
He was definitely trying to spark up a conversation.
He shouldn't have that on a garage forecourt. Could have killed you all. Okay.
And he said to me, are you England? And I said, part of it.
Oh, clever.
But no, I said I'm English, and he said I wonder if you can help. And,
He suddenly got articulate when he needed a favour.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because he was speaking in broken English, but he did use some so he wanted me. He communicated to me that he wanted me to help him with the grammar a message he was composing to a friend of his.
On a text, yeah?
Not on written on a piece of
In a
paper.
bottle?
I think
That's going to go in a bottle. He's optimist.
I think it might have been for a text, but I think he was drafting it.
Was there a pigeon on the... just sitting on the top of the till? Wait, looking anxious.
He was drafting a text on paper.
So what he showed me what he had so far.
Okay.
I don't know if it was what he had so far or what he had received, but it was the start of the message. And it said, "Boy failed in love, keeps beard."
Boy failed in love, keeps beard. Mm-hmm. Well, that'll be a Tom Cruise.
But a girl...
Could be Al Murray.
oh, that kind of beard, yeah.
Boy failed in love, keeps beard, but girl hides in her heart. And he said, is that right?
Are you sure this isn't a headline he's copied out of the Daily Star? Boy failed in love, keeps beard, but girl loses her heart.
Yes. And he wanted me, and he said, is it correct, the grammar?
Well, I like it. I like the idea that in a tempestuous relationship, one person could lose their heart and another their beard. I like the way he switches from the physical to the emotional.
Yeah.
Yes. No, he said the first bit, I think I know what you mean by that.
Did
Boy
you?
failed in love, keeps beard.
What does that mean?
Well, because I think it means that, if you're in a relationship, you might have to shave your beard off because your girlfriend might not like it. So you have to make compromises to be and maybe that represents your masculinity.
At least
beard.
you get to keep your beard if she's left you.
You see, I fear that might be a saying of some kind.
Yeah.
Well, what was the second part? So boy keeps beard.
But then he said, but I think the third bit, the second bit, and he said, is that right? But girl hides in her heart. And I said, well...
Oh, girl hides in her heart.
But girl...
She should have hidden in his beard.
I said...
She wouldn't be the first.
I think it sort of sounds right, but it sounds like poetry. I'm not entirely... it's... So what we drafted something, and he said he wanted...
How long were you in the garage?
Well, it was a little while, because he asked me for help, and I'm a helpful person.
You had a lot of time on your hands that evening.
Yeah.
What time was this about?
This was about 11:30 at night.
Okay.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah. Well, at first I was a bit worried when he seemed to be keen to start.
So at midnight you were with this strange man drafting text while your wife and child were at home.
Drafting poetry.
It's not the kind of thing you see on Crime Watch, is it, when you see a CCTV from an all-night garage? Co-authoring. And now a terrible case of co-authoring in Andover. I've never seen that. Usually they're knocking them about. It's good on you for going in there and writing with him.
So I think what he said is that I think maybe he had received that and he wanted to reply back in a way, and he said he wanted to bump his friend.
Oh.
He wanted to bump him.
Move him off the chat show.
No, I think he meant I want to shake him up, shake up what he thinks. And
I see.
So
I hope that's what he meant.
We didn't mean as in, come on and do the bump. Do you remember the bump? Sort of 70s dance?
I know the bump and grind.
Oh, bump and grind, or the bump. So what we drafted, so I got an idea of what he wanted to say, and this is what we came up with as the proverb that we were to send his friend.
Oh, it's a proverb now?
I think so.
What, you've concocted it?
I polished it up. I've put in some extra words.
Respect.
So a boy who has failed in love keeps his beard, but if a girl...
changed it at all.
But if a girl... No, the second bit.
Sorry.
And it's something different to the other one because he wants to say something... but if a girl fails in love, she'll find someone else. This is what he wanted to say.
I don't think it's better. Why does it make any more sense?
Boy
was better
fails in
before,
love,
Frank.
keeps his beard. Woman fails in love, she gets someone else.
This is what he wanted to say to his friend, I think. That
that's going to cheer him up.
No, you're right. It wasn't exactly a closure. What I did is a policeman arrived.
A policeman arrived? Not the poetry police.
Who called the cops?
And he served the policeman. And I said, "Can I take a picture of this? Because I wanted a record of the notes." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Just because I want."
The policeman said?
No, the man.
Oh right.
And so
he turned. Then I think he got nasty.
And then I left. The policeman was there.
Did you take a photo?
Yeah, I took a photo. Yeah.
He's all right with that.
Yeah.
What worries me is that it could be some, big relationship decision that you've contributed and you don't even know what you're saying quite. Some bloke could have left
isn't
his
that like
wife,
everything in life?
Well, yeah, but, you could have broken a marriage family and everything just on the strength of an ad hoc homemade proverb. I hate it when that happens.
Look, I just polished up the grammar. He really he decided the meaning. I'd like to make
Didn't
that
Wayne
clear.
Rooney
Also, it does
polish
sound
up
a
the
little
grammar?
bit a little bit sexist, and I want to say in the current climate, I do not endorse the views of that. Women
Well-
can keep their beards as well if they want.
Well, yeah, many do.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Now, we've got a bit of a special moment here. It's a British premiere. Because some of you will remember Gareth's amazing David Mitchell.
Yeah.
In fact, could we have a reprise of that just to set this up?
A little bit of David Mitchell. It's a bit impromptu, but I'll do my best. You have to get into it, and no, it's not working perfectly, but is that okay?
Yes, it's David Mitchell as Charlie's aunt.
Yeah.
But you're working on a new one.
Yes, I've been working on it, and I've got a bit of a cold, so my voice is a little bit deep, so I'm just going to...
excuses before we've even...
Sound like an X Factor contestant.
Would you like to hear my Jedward?
Yes. Do you
'Cause,
do you do both? Or?
Well, it's good because it's two birds with one stone because they
How do
talk
they
the same.
actually speak, though? I don't know how they speak.
You don't know how they have you.
Oh, I would if I heard an
Oh, it's
impression that was
ITV,
good,
I
I'd
haven't
recognise it.
Exactly like this. Exactly like I'm just about to. So
Okay.
I'm going to read from there was an article in this week's
Okay.
paper that they've finally started spending their money.
Yeah,
They spent £20,000.
I read that on memorabilia.
Yeah, memorabilia. From a China-based icons auction legends site.
China-based with a Chairman Mao commemorative plate.
Yeah, there was some sea-stained trousers from the long walk.
And go, it's really good stuff. No one else in the world has it. We bought a Britney Spears suit. She wore it in a Pepsi commercial. We got a signed limited edition Michael Jackson doll and a signed bedsheet of his, also signed by Macaulay Culkin. Which is a little... Anyway. We also bought some outfits from Batman, like the Riddlers and some clown thing.
I like it.
It is. Now we see. You think you don't know how they speak, but when you, that's
I love
absolutely,
it.
absolutely excellent.
It's got the panic of youth as well, which I
Panic
like.
of Youth. A novel by Beryl Beck. I haven't said that for a long time. Since she's died, it doesn't seem right. I don't know why.
The fags got to her in the end.
And also, there wasn't there I can't remember what it was. There was an Ethan story.
Yes.
Oh, you got a
hinted at.
letter.
Ethan's first letter.
Oh, Ethan's first letter.
Yeah.
Very
That's always a
exciting.
big moment. I still remember my first letter.
What was it?
Well, I was a big fan of Dennis Law. Do you remember Dennis Law?
Glad
the
you said Dennis
footballer?
Law. I thought you were going to say Dennis Nielsen.
Yeah, Dennis the Menace, they called him.
Oh.
And I wrote to him and said, can I have your autograph? And he sent me back a flyer for shredded wheat.
Wow.
Because he was on the cover of the shredded wheat packet, and he just folded up a shredded wheat leaf. It had the printed autograph on it, printed on it, not written on it. And he just sent me that. So he sent me an advert for shredded wheat.
Wow.
Very
Well, it's good
emotional.
advertising, grassroots advertising.
Yeah, it's
Very
it's
effective.
interesting, sort of one-on-one approach
Oh,
rather
it's
than blanket
horrible sending a
advertising.
child a promotional thing. It's
I know.
disgusting.
But, these were less in
I remember my
times.
first letter. It was a royalty check. Anyway, tell me about Ethan's.
Well,
I think you've missed reality is how you
that's-
pronounce that.
Oh, no, I never got one of those, Frank.
Still waiting. I
Yeah.
think that was lost in the post. So what
it
was
was quite official looking, and it was awkward because he's 15 months old, and so do you...
Can
do
he
you-
read?
Can you open other... No, he can't read. He
What's wrong
can't,
with him?
He can say words, he can say the odd word, but he's quite, he can't... They're not supposed to be able to talk. He's advanced, but he can sort of... He started saying no quite a lot. He's learned how to say no.
I've never learned how to say that.
If you ask him,
Yeah, well,
if you ask him any question, say no. But then if he means yes,
Yeah.
so you would you like to read this book? And go, no. Would you like to read this one? No. Would you like to read this one? No. You sure? Yes.
oh, okay.
And they'll say,
So if
but then-
pressed.
But yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
So yes,
So I opened it for him, and
is that legal?
I don't know, but
Never stopped my parents.
Well, I don't think I'm not sure
Yeah, I was
you're
gonna
allowed
say.
to open someone else's mail legally.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he,
was it from Shredded Wheat?
well, it was bad news. It was bad news. Library books are overdue.
His library
God.
book.
Yeah. I mean, you try to bring them up as well as you can, but
Still, he's
what
young.
can you do?
He's young yet.
Yeah.
So the
We feel partly responsible.
yeah.
So are they sending him a fine then?
No, you don't get fined if you're a child.
Well, that seems unfair. Different
Well,
rules
he's
for
got no
different
income.
sorts.
He's got no income.
Well, get one then. Not hanging around.
True.
If the
Your
library's
baby
only
grow.
fine
Go,
people have an
no.
income.
Get a life.
That's like he gets offers, but he goes, no.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
On the other hand, my son Ethan, he's keeping very trim at the moment because we took him recently this week. Well, I usually take him swimming on a Monday, but it was half term. Oh no, it's Easter holiday, so it's going to be very busy. So Laura booked him into the baby gym.
Oh.
And I've never taken him to the baby gym.
I've never heard of a baby gym.
Yeah,
Some strange body fascist starting early. Come on, work those buns.
Well, it's kind of like on gym equipment, not like there's lots of balance beams. There's a circuit for the babies to go round of balance beams for them to walk along.
Jim!
And
Kidding me. How old are these children?
like,
Does he pump iron?
He's 2. No, he doesn't pump iron, but there's like more like gymnastics equipment than like running machines.
Does he go up to him and go, how much you pressing?
How many babies are we talking?
There's probably 20 to 30 babies all
What?
going around.
Sounds like chaos.
Are you absolutely sure you haven't been tricked into a nappy advert? Did they say, can he move a bit like he's doing the Lambada?
No, there's a thing
I've
of-
never heard of such a thing.
I've never heard of it, Frank, but I want a ringside seat, don't you? We're going
I
there.
find it a bit terrifying, to be honest.
Really?
Well, it was a bit funny because I'd never been before, and there's assistants to help you. So there's quite a high beam that they have to walk along, and you hold their hands, and then they're supposed to kind of do a flip off onto a crash mat, and then do like a roll sideways down the mat, and like
And
they obviously
do
can't.
this?
No, they can't do these things. So
No.
what you have to do as the parent is move them through the sort of routine.
Oh, so sort of hold them by the waist and spin them in the air.
And I'd never been before, so the woman was like, no, you have to grab them and you have to show them how it's done. You have to show them you mean business. And grab them by the legs, and so, because then later they'll be able to do it themselves, and all to show them you mean business. That's not fun.
I never like it when men say that to me.
No, but it's an odd instruction for childcare.
Yeah.
Show them you mean business.
And I think they're bringing what the gym is all about, which is the gym is not fun. No one goes to the
No.
gym for
No,
fun.
no,
It's
I hate
about,
the gym.
It's very regimented. And Ethan,
Horrible.
he rebelled against the regimentation of the whole thing quite quickly. He would run off and just join the circuit thing halfway through, and was trying to make friends with people, because at the adult gym you don't go there to make friends.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
When I used to go to the gym, Eleanor Bonham Carter used to go to my gym.
Really?
And that's wrong. I don't want to see Eleanor Bonham Carter,
No.
a gothic icon, in gym wear. Some of it wasn't even black. I mean,
What?
I only think of her in the gothic context. I saw her on the rowing machine. I thought, couldn't someone have done that up as a ghost ship? And put you in a lot of black lace and maybe an eye patch? Yes, too normal and everyday. I don't want to see Eleanor Bonham Carter like that.
Yeah. No. The cutest thing Ethan has done this week, which I know is a bit horrific just to tell cute baby stories, but he was eating jelly in his high chair.
In the gym, BFM.
No, in his high chair, and he'd been throwing some on the floor, and Laura said,
I'm imagining it's coming out of a pork pie through a straw. Am I wrong?
no, from a pot. And he was throwing it on the floor, which we try and like dissuade him from doing that. And Laura said, no more, don't do that again. Then she went out the room just a moment, and she came in to see a big load of jelly on the floor. And so she was
God.
being strict with him and said, Ethan,
She meant business.
yes, Ethan, what has happened? And he went, oh, and then pointed to the window and said, oh, blackbird.
Oh,
But what if that was true?
It
yeah.
might have been true.
That could have been... Yeah, it's all right blaming him. I'm still worried about the gym.
so am I.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'm looking at you, Gareth, from here. Your head looks narrower than normal.
Yes, I've had a haircut.
Oh, that'll be it.
I
yeah.
did have longer hair.
Hang on, I thought you got it stuck between the doors of a lift. But no, it's
Where
short.
did you go to have it cut? Just out of interest?
I made a mistake again. There's a really nice little barber's I go to in Camden.
That's in London.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
in
North
London.
Yeah.
And I should always make sure I go there, but I tried out somewhere else in Bournemouth, and they're just rubbish.
Oh dear.
And he's
Well, I
made
wouldn't say
another terrible
rubbish.
mistake.
No, I think-
have a look at this. I know this isn't great radio, but I'm taking my glasses off and look at what he's done to my sideburn.
Oh, it does look a bit Smike from Nicholas Nickleby.
It's like
If anyone's familiar with that character.
I think Gareth's a bit smike generally.
I think you should have to ask for something like that. What he's done
I
there.
can't.
Well,
He's
if we
kind of-
describe it to the listeners, they're sort of like... Well, how would you describe it, Frank?
Well, it looks a bit... You know those bottle openers that you can get? And they've got like a little V that you get on the edge of the cap. He's sort of taken a little inlet into your sideburn.
Yeah, like it's
not
shaped-
It's not accidental because it's on both sides.
No, he's done it on purpose.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I think you should ask. And also, he
There
makes...
is something...
You do now you've got a Nike sign carved into the back of your hair.
What? Oh, my goodness.
There is something of the punishment about the haircut.
Yeah, it's like a very specific... And he said something terribly insensitive.
What
Oh,
did
yeah?
he say?
Right, I had quite long hair when I went in there and sort of swept over like quite a long fringe, and I said I'd like it a bit shorter. I'd like it short at the sides, at the back, and then a bit longer at the front. And he said, "Oh, what, to cover up what's going on under there?"
What is going on under there? Some ecosystem?
In a very distinguished, manly way, I'm receding very slightly.
And he brought that up.
And he mentioned that's out of order, isn't it?
But I like that you go into a barber and he says, "How would you like your hair?" And you said a bit shorter.
Oh, what are we supposed to say?
Well, what are you going to say? Actually, I'd like it a little bit longer on the sides. Can you sort that? Obviously, Emily's looking at me saying she does that most weeks. Yeah, so it looks all right, though.
It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's...
And I would never have noticed the baldness if you hadn't brought it up. Now you've brought it up, of course. You look to me, you just look like a light bulb with a little bit of hair stuck on the top. But hey, we can't sit here. Well, we can, but let's not.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So it was your birthday this week, Gareth.
It was my birthday, yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
We bought Gareth what I thought was a very nice cardigan.
Nice car.
It's very him.
There was no cheapness there. That's all I'm saying.
No.
It's expensive.
Yeah, very expensive. Anyway, as you were.
Should I take it back and buy food with it?
Well, you probably will.
Do they have a barter system up here? Yeah, I like that. I'd like some potatoes, please. I have a cardigan. Oh, how wonderful.
So did you have a nice time?
Well,
Was it a raglan sleeve?
I don't know what that is.
Well, get out then. Go on, get out. Right out. No, go on out. No, keep going.
It's fuck.
Anyway, where were we? Did you say Nez Pa then?
I said this part.
Oh, sorry, I thought you'd gone all Francais.
I thought you said yes, Pa. Well, there we go.
I did. I had my birthday, and my mother and father were visiting. And
Yeah.
people, talk to any comedians, people when they visit Edinburgh, they don't understand, right? Because it's sort of stressful, Edinburgh, isn't it? You're working really hard. People look at it and think you're doing an hour a day, but there's a lot of brooding to do.
There was a lot of brooding.
And they think that when they come, you have to entertain them. And you can't. You don't have the time, you don't have the energy.
You're so right.
And my parents came.
I'm finding this with my girlfriend and her sister. Who they say, you're going out now. And I have to go off on my own, go to things.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've become an encumbrance.
Oh.
Which I think is a sort of coiled sausage. If I remember rightly.
And I went, so I'd had a whole day, I'd done a couple of things during the day, and then I did my show, and then after the show we went out for a meal. And, like, you know when you're all out together and you haven't got a restaurant in mind, you've got to find one.
Oh, I hate that.
And it turns into terrible, like, just wandering.
So that's how I got into sitting on my square with a bottle of cider. There's no queuing. Nothing. It's just there's always seats. Do you know what I'm saying? Often a mattress.
Basically, I was very, very low energy. And as you know, when I get low energy...
I think of you as the Lucasade boy.
Also, you'd be hanging around the grass market. That will make you no energy.
No, I know you can fade away when you're tired.
We went to the first restaurant and they said, it's going to be 10 minutes for a table. And I thought, well, we can do better than that. We can do better than that. And then we looked at another one.
Can you?
We walked all the way along, didn't fancy any of them. Got right to the end, asked somewhere, it's half an hour. I thought, well, the first one, it was 10 minutes.
So what you should have done, the secret I've found, is to leave a scout at the first one.
Right.
And then to go off and have a look at some others. And meanwhile, the clock's ticking at that restaurant. If you don't find it, you go back and Bob's your uncle.
Well, I
and-
should have put. They said
No.
we can put your name on the list and we'll phone you. I made a terrible mistake. The first place I should have said, well, yeah, we can wait 10 minutes, and then it descended.
The
and
secret
then it
I find is to call ahead and say, do you know who I am?
Yes.
Yeah, but the answer when I ask that question is no.
Yeah.
I was the only time I've ever seen that. I was going into a club, and Pete Doherty was there,
Oh, really?
and they wouldn't let him in. And he said, "Do you know who I am?" And it was actually a genuine inquiry. And they had to give him a brief resume. He went off quite happy.
So we
I think he felt he'd done quite well with his life. Anyway, carry on.
We had to just choose any restaurant, so we went in, and I didn't like it much, but then I didn't really have any choosing ability left, so we had to choose some stuff, and I just went very, very quiet.
Oh dear!
As
This
I
is your
sometimes do.
birthday
This
celebration.
is my birthday celebration. We're supposed to be having a very good time, and I just couldn't. And eventually, I ate half a pizza, and I said, I'll take Ethan home, because Ethan was with us, and he was freaking out a little bit. So I said, I'll take Ethan home, and I left.
So you left your own birthday meal?
I left my own.
So you left
birthday
your
meal.
wife with your parents?
Yeah.
How long did you stay at the restaurant?
A while. We had a starter, and then we had.
Oh, thanks a lot. You had a
half
starter.
Okay.
And then I had to leave. I didn't have any. I apologised. I said sorry. I'm very tired. I need to go. I need to go. And then
And that one, you walked out on it?
Yeah.
I like the idea of you had to leave.
Yeah.
There was no choice involved.
I think there's something brilliant about it. If only we all lived our life like that. As soon,
Like a child.
as soon as you get to a point where you just think, I've had enough of
Yeah.
this now.
This
you
isn't
just-
working.
In fact, actually,
Oh. He's halfway through. He's just putting his headphones down. He's gone out the door. That's the sound of a door closing.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Well, listen, we've had some advice, though, on how to get a Sony Award.
Oh, okay.
This is from Steve at the Village Bakery in Birchington.
Oh, sorry, I'm still recoiling from remembering that night.
He says, Frank, to make sure you get a Sony Award, make sure there's a Raymond Blanc tale each week. There's Radio Gold.
Well,
I hope there's no irony in that.
no, I shouldn't think so. In case you don't know, Gareth is big mates with Raymond Blanc.
He's not mates. He went into a tea shop once where he works and saw him once and has strung out about 9 anecdotes out of this.
Yeah, but you did speak to him, didn't you?
Yeah, he came over.
Hold it.
Yeah, he came over and said, "Oh, you have a little one," pointing to Ethan, and he says, "Oh,
That's
no."
rather rude.
Thank God. I was going to say, he's very, what is he? Psychic? So, come on, what did Raymond say? Hold it, here comes Raymond. After he'd said, you have a little one?
And he came and said, "Oh, you have a little one? What, he is not having souffle or ice cream?" And I said, "No, he's a bit young for that."
Souffle! Cheese souffle!
Another, ladies and gentlemen, another Raymond Blanc. Really, that trip to the tea shop really was the gift that kept on giving, wasn't it? Oh, I'm loving it so much. Oh, Blanc.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So The Apprentice started.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, I love
I've still
it.
never seen it, can I say that?
Have you not?
No, never.
Oh, it's ever so good.
Yeah, Gareth and I love it, don't we?
I have a whole Apprentice tradition for me and Laura. We watch it together, and I make special food. It's like
Special?
Christmas. We've got special food. We have every Apprentice. We have chicken wings, buffalo chicken wings.
When you say you make it, what you call KFC?
No, I buy fresh chicken wings and I put them in the oven probably about
I oven them, that
220.
worries me. I oven them.
I think that's a good verb. I oven them for 40 minutes. They should use that on the cookery
You have
show.
oven chips. You oven them.
Yeah, I think oven chips, though, it's a noun.
Yeah.
It's part of the whole
It's not a
name.
verb.
It's at best an adjective. It's certainly not a verb. It's not a command. Oven chips today. So you do.
Okay.
You get chicken. Do you pay for chicken wings, or are they?
I don't steal them.
Yeah, but I'd have thought
steal them from a chicken.
They're sort of
Tear them off.
they're packing, really, aren't they? Sort of package and packing.
Yeah, they're quite cheap.
Yeah.
Now we get to the heart of the
that's not
matter.
why I
There's
do
nothing
it.
on them.
The nice treat meal for Laura, because it's the old cheap offcuts.
It's not. It's because they're so tasty, because they're mostly skin. And the skin is the tastiest bit of chicken.
Oh, some
And it's
awful plane crash survivor from Lost.
It's quite a well-known tradition of people eating chicken wings.
Yeah, no, accept
As
that,
a
but
thing.
not as they watch The Apprentice. So what is the nature then? You cook chicken. Did you say buffalo?
Buffalo chicken wings, you get a special sauce.
Okay.
You can make your own sauce with hot pepper sauce and marge or butter. And what I do is when you put the butter in, you about 50-50 of each. You fry some garlic in the butter to add a little bit of garlickiness to it. A little bit of garlickiness to it. And then you add the same pepper sauce, and then you sort of toss it like a salad.
Oh, brilliant.
Once the chicken wings are nice and crispy, probably about an hour I cook them for.
Okay, so then you sit
Sort of
down.
toss it.
Sorry,
sauce.
you oven them for an hour.
I oven them for an hour.
And then
Okay.
you sit, and is it just chicken wings?
We also have, because with chicken wings it's very nice to have a dip. So we have a sour cream and chive dip, and then
Is
with
it
that,
exactly the same every
yes,
Apprentice?
every time.
How long
we
is
usually
the
have
series?
beer. Usually have a beer.
Got about 16 weeks, isn't it?
So usually
every-
towards the end, I have a couple of heart attacks.
Oh, really?
From the,
You have a
not
beer as
healthy.
well?
Yeah, some beer.
Homer Simpson.
We have a Homer Simpson bottle opener that goes, when you open it, it goes, oh, beer. Yeah.
Oh, the laughs
is
never
that-
stop.
And then
Is
we
that
have
part of the tradition?
yeah, that's part of the tradition. And then we have carrot sticks and cucumber sticks and celery sticks to dip in, and it's nice and
Crudité.
refreshing with it. Yeah,
That's
I
where
don't
I
know.
built my
It's,
career on.
quite common. But
Wow, and it's every episode.
Yeah,
What
well,
about that? What about that sort of
sometimes I'm out.
spin-off show? Do you do it for that as well?
I don't think we
What's
could
it
be
called?
bothered with that
Apprentice,
this
You're
week.
Fired,
Yeah,
or
the Apprentice,
Yeah.
You're Fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we watch that. Did we watch that this week? Oh, we did. Jack Whitehall's on it. He was good.
Apprentice, You're Grilled. Is what you want. Well, that's
Ovened.
me and
You're ovened.
Me and Kath used to, when we watched, we used to watch reruns of Family Fortunes
Did you?
on what's that channel with all the quiz shows?
Oh, Challenge.
Yeah, it's got the thing in the corner is a question mark.
Oh, yeah, that's Challenge.
That's
yeah.
I love that because sometimes you get really bad shows. There's a question mark in a kind of a why.
Yeah.
Why did this happen? And what we used to do when we watched that, we always shouted Les every time they called him Les, because they're obviously told when you talk to Les, make sure you use the
Oh,
name.
yeah.
So he'd say, "Now you were a bit of a Boy Scout." He said, "Yes, Les," and we go, "Les," and he goes, "Yeah, I joined in when I was about 7, Les, and Les," and they over Les the pudding is what.
Oh,
they do.
they do.
And then we used to compete. So whoever got the most questions right, the highest up the chart in each one, name a famous fruit. And then whoever lost had to buy the other person a magazine. That's how we did.
A magazine?
Magazine.
That's a weird forfeit.
It's quite good, I tell you, because when someone
Are you
else...
treating my profession as some kind of forfeit?
No, but I tell you what happens, when someone else is buying the magazine, you go a bit left field.
Oh.
You think, yeah,
got nothing to lose.
I'll have Clockmender. Clockmender Journal, why not?
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
What else?
Well, there's been this... Have you been reading about Camilla had this...
Of course not.
Oh, why not? She's one of my favourite royals.
Oh, okay.
She had lunch with Kate Middleton.
That's a good question. Who's my favourite royal?
Who is your favourite royal?
I suppose it would be Princess Michael of Kent.
Oh, you're a fan of her work, are you?
Yeah, I am. She's the Catholic. She's the rogue Catholic in the scene. Anyway, what's Camilla?
Yeah, so they had a sort of pre-bridal lunch.
Who?
Camilla and Kate Middleton.
Do they wear bridle? I'm not surprised. But what do they have? Do they have nose bags on?
Did they have peanut butter sandwiches? Because maybe that's made it what look like that.
Yeah, they weren't really talking. Vote for Mr. Camilla. Yes. I hope
so
we're not
anyway.
doing jokes about the royal family being like horses. Have we come to
Exactly.
I mean, let's talk about Prince Charles's big ears, why don't we? The fact that he talks to plants. Let's sink that low into the comedy mire.
He has got quite big ears.
Yeah, have you never noticed that before?
Do you want to hear about the lunch?
Well, Prince Charles can hear about it from here. And now I've done it, you see.
so they had this lunch, her and Kate Middleton, and it was this pre-wedding kind of bonding lunch, apparently. Well, I loved the sound of it, Frank. It was a very posh restaurant.
Okay.
Camilla had a glass of red wine. It was in the date. No judgment here.
Still in the day.
Red wine in the date.
Yeah, that's all right.
I know. As I said, no judgment. That's what she wants to do.
Yeah.
But apparently, fellow diners. You can tell I got this from a tabloid. This story.
Yeah.
Fellow diners overheard snippets of their conversation.
I bet they did.
Yeah. Imagine everyone. So trumpets were mentioned at one point.
Trumpet?
Yes. Trumpets were mentioned at one point.
Yes, they said, well, we can't have trumpets. The ceiling is too high.
That's what someone was heard saying.
Okay. Carry on.
Then one of the best things was Camilla was heard to say, "Can I give you a piece of advice?" But rather tantalisingly, we never heard the end of that sentence, Frank.
Oh.
So we don't know what the advice was.
There was a moment between Emily and I when I was...
How dare you?
Yeah, why bring that up now? It was that day she had the black bra, white top. I remember it. I was appalled. I didn't know where to look.
No, I was fiddling with a blind.
God, did she get a big... I think you got a big hello that morning.
When he came to the stable.
I was fiddling with a blind and sort of rattling it around, and I did it for a while.
No, you were playing drums with a biro and we were about to go on air. Yeah, sorry, back
I
to you.
did it for a while, and Emily said, "Let me give you a piece of advice." And she didn't need to say anything else, so I stopped doing what I was doing. And it was probably that, like Kate was probably playing with the cutlery or something. And
what do you think she said there?
Maybe she said, "Let me give you a piece of advice." Oh, sorry, did I say advice? I meant bread. Maybe it's as simple as that.
We had a text in from Rob. Maybe they were eating jerk chicken, and she said, "Let me give you peas and rice."
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Welcome, and thank you for listening. Just for taking the trouble to download is, I love it. I have a reprise to begin with.
Okay.
A reprise. For those of you who listen to the Saturday morning show or its resultant podcast, you'll know that I went to a launch party last week for the King James Bible Trust. Not Truss. A King James Bible Trust would be a marvellous thing. You could think, it's a bit tight onto the thing, but that'll be the New Testament slipped. So, I mentioned the fact that I met Professor Gordon Campbell,
right?
Who has written a book.
Oh yeah, I've seen him in Hello and OK.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a beard, absolutely long. And we were talking about. He said there are some parts of the Bible. He said that translate the King James Bible. He said he can't make any sense of it. He said there's a thing in Ezekiel. He said that I've never managed to really work out. He said, and I've never read any explanation. He said, I've read a lot about it. I've never read an explanation that I was convinced by. He said, I just think we'll have to accept we'll never know what they meant.
Well, I come from a line of preachers, so I might be able to help.
Well, this is good because he emailed me, the professor, and said, here's that quote. He said it's Ezekiel 13:18. Well, that would have been enough. I could have gone and looked it up, but no. He reproduced the quote for me to peruse at my leisure. So this is it. This is Ezekiel. We don't have enough Ezekiel on these podcasts. I've said that once.
No, Ben Jones does it. I know he does.
Yeah, I know he's kind of cornered the Ezekiel market, Ben Jones, but this is Ezekiel without the baseball cap.
Okay.
Woe to the women that sew pillows to all armholes and make kerchiefs upon the head of every stature to hunt souls.
Oh.
Woe to the women that sew pillows to all armholes. Well, I mean, they're rascals, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because, you pick up your tank top, and then there's a couple of big...
It's a very strange thing.
I'm accepting the adjective strange as apt in this case. Yeah, and so, Mr. Preacher Man, what do you make of that?
It's a funny one.
Yeah, is that your final word on it?
It probably meant something to the people at the time, I imagine.
Oh, thanks for that.
I'm with you. Well, I'm glad we have you as our theological correspondent.
See, that's what you've got to think.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Well, Frank, this has been quite a week for me. not only did I win a Sony Award, well, part of the team,
No, you
but
won.
I was on telly.
Really?
They let me on
I
telly.
know this is mean, but I already feel depressed that we're not talking about the Sony Awards.
Well, I'm sure I dare say we'll come back to it.
Okay.
It's good that we got this out of the way, not the weekend, because on the show by now it would be unbearable. Play a song, some adverts. Oh, another thing about the Sony Awards. God, I don't know what I'll be like after the Archivas.
No, we're not allowed.
Quite-
We're not going
quite
to
hang
that. We're not going to that.
Well, it's me.
Oh,
It's me and Dave. You see,
Okay.
he's nominated.
Okay.
So you're not.
Oh,
That didn't stop. That won't stop me getting on stage, will it?
No, of course not. I thought you were hosting. So go on.
Sorry, Gareth.
Your
No,
first telly.
I was on telly, yeah, for the first ever time. On
Crime
the,
Watch?
Russell
Okay.
Howard Good News doing stand-up comedy.
Really? Well, you
Yes,
could
at
have
the
told
end.
me. I would have watched that.
I had to put it on Facebook.
Frank doesn't
You think
do Facebook.
you know I'm a My Face purist.
Well, you can still see it on iPlayer. But no, yeah.
I watched it.
It was,
I thought you were brilliant.
Oh,
it
thank
was
you,
really
Emily.
good. I got
Brilliant, you
really excited.
say?
Yeah,
That's
I say brilliant.
It was good. I did look good. I did.
No, I didn't
makeup.
say you look good.
Oh, right. Sorry.
You did. I didn't not say you looked good.
Don't put words in Emily's
Okay.
mouth. I wonder if there were people watching who knew you from this show and hadn't seen you before.
Well, no, yeah, people have tweeted me and stuff and said it's amazing to see and hear me at the same time. And they had no idea that I looked the way I do.
Well, it is true,
That's not.
though.
That doesn't sound good.
No, it's
Well, it's not so true nowadays when, people are in the papers and the tabloid things and all that. But when I was a kid, certainly, the first time you saw someone who you knew from the radio, it was
Yeah.
often quite a shock. I went to a live night with Dave Lee Travis, the Hairy Cornflake.
Wow.
And I remember there was a bit where he said, right, we need some volunteers on stage. And me and a couple of mates went bounding up on stage. And he said, I'll choose. He said, I decide who's on stage and who isn't.
Wow.
And it was a bit of a... Of course, he now realises that he was quite wrong about that. That it's the showbiz gods who decide who's on stage and who isn't. But because he was a bit haughty... I never really liked listening to him again, and I didn't know. When he spoke of the hairy cornflake, I didn't know it was the full beard thing, because they weren't in the papers then. So there will be people
Yes.
who were.
Well, the Sonys are
astonished.
like, we were at the Sony Awards last night and won Best Entertainment, and that is like that, isn't it? You see lots of people who you haven't seen before. I saw the guy who was who Emily was talking to someone. The guy.
Well,
who
don't
used
say
to
that.
be
That
on-
could be someone I was chatting up, and you'll embarrass me. Who was I chatting to? No,
think it
go
was
on.
Nick Ferrari.
It was the person who was on Jonathan Ross's show.
Oh, Andy. Oh,
Yeah,
he's fine.
Andy.
No, he doesn't count.
Andy, yeah, no, I had a very
you were surprised
vivid
at what he
image.
looked
I had a
like?
very vivid image of what he looked like in my mind from his voice. It's not the same person. Who is that person I was seeing?
No, it is a big thing, but that's great. The first, I remember my first telly. I did a thing called First Exposure. It was called.
Wow.
I don't like the sound of
That
that.
does sound like Crime Watch.
Well, it was new comedians, do you see? And I was introduced as Frank Spencer. Now that's an awkward moment, isn't it? When you're a bit nervous first telling. Can I say, before we go any further in this conversation, let's make a pact now. None of us to do a Frank Spencer impression. Let's just in case you felt one bubbling under, just stop. No, but it kind of it sort of pulled the rug from under me, if you know what I mean.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I thought it was. That was Arthur Smith introducing. I don't know if you remember her. And at the end, I did a routine about sneezing, 5 minutes about sneezing.
Oh.
It was basically around the fact that
Bless you.
my dad used to do big sneezes, like with no hand in front of the mouth when I was so you can feel the spray the other side of the room. But when I met middle class people for the first time, they did that. You know that?
Oh, yes.
sneeze. And it was basically all about that culture shock.
Good little bit of observation comedy there.
Yeah, exactly.
10 out of 10.
No, I loved it. And then I remember at the end, I watched it back sometime later, because I didn't have a video recorder at the time. And at the end, they laughed and they applauded, and I said, "Thank you, you've been very kind." And I thought, you pathetic.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
If you think, by the way, that Gareth's a bit quiet this morning, he's a bit tense.
Got a bit of a cold.
You're a bit tense.
He's got performance anxiety.
Yeah, why is he a bit tensed? Emily, why is Gareth a bit tense?
Because he's going to play us a song later.
He's going to do a brand new Christmas song. Has anyone heard this in the world apart from you?
Yes, some people have heard it.
Oh.
Laura's very important in my editing process.
Laura's your wife, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, so your wife's heard it.
Yeah.
And Ethan, the baby?
He won't have it in the house. He won't have it around.
Oh, no,
He's very demanding, that baby.
He's quite strict.
Got quite a temper.
Should we explain, Frank, what Gareth plays it on? Because people might not know what it is.
What is your instrument, Gareth?
It's called an omnichord.
Is it?
It's like a Casio, like those machines you'd get in the 80s.
It's not like a Casio, is
Well,
it?
it's like do you know what an auto harp is?
No.
June Carter played one
did she?
in that film.
Oh, yeah,
Not
in
June
Walk
Carter.
the Line.
Yeah, and in real life as well. It's kind of like a harpy thing.
Oh, I know. Yeah, like Mother Mel thingy,
Yeah, that's
Mother
right,
Maybelle
yeah.
Carter used to wear.
But it's an electronic version of one of
Yeah.
them.
Do I sound like I know what I'm talking about? I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. Is that it? Does that sound like... I know that's the human voice. Oh, God, I've got so mixed up. I can't tell you.
And we've got
That's
an amp
great.
in here, so it looks all muso for Joey, which I'm pleased about.
Yeah, exactly. It looks a bit rock and roll. We've got a tree up and everything.
That tree is disgusting.
No, that is a bit rubbish.
It's sort of like, Albert
That's the-
Tatlock in Coronation Street. That's the sort of tree he would have.
That's what
it's
it
like
looks
an old
like now. I thought you were going to say.
an old man's plastic tree.
Oh, that's the absolute tree. Don't give that a hard time. There was a reindeer. Honestly, there was a little reindeer. I've been looking for it all morning.
Oh,
Where is
God.
that? Where is that reindeer?
Will you ever stop playing this?
Where is it?
That is the music from the Deer Hunter.
The reindeer hunter, I'm calling it this morning. Yeah, so tell us about your dream, Gareth, because this is important.
I had a dream when I woke up yesterday morning that young and old could join hands.
No, it's not that dream.
No,
Not
not
that
that one. Okay. It was that I woke up and Jimmy Carr was on stage in the dream, and he told the setup to a joke.
Right.
The setup was he held up 2 pieces of meat, one in each hand, and said, "I can hold 2 pieces of meat at once."
Right.
But then, I woke up as he was doing the punchline. So in the dream, I was like, "Oh no, I'm going to miss the punchline. I'm waking up."
Yeah.
And I never found out what the punchline was.
Yes. So, but it just so happens we know someone who knows Jimmy Carr, don't we?
Yeah.
Would that be me, friend of the stars?
Of course. So,
Showbiz Emily.
so even though this joke obviously had never happened, it wasn't one of Jimmy's jokes, it's just a dream.
Yeah.
As a challenge, Emily phoned Jimmy Carr while we were out at lunch yesterday and said to him, "Go on, what you tell
Jimmy,
us."
can you finish this joke?
Yeah.
You actually said finis. Didn't that worry him? in
I'm
some way?
Norwegian.
Okay, yeah.
And he said, Gareth,
He said, the stakes are even.
that's
So-
awesome.
Which
Good.
is-
That's
which is a good-
absolutely
Yeah.
Jimmy Carr at his lightning best. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was very
fabulous.
impressed by
so
that.
we thought we'd have, as well as how many, and we're going to read out a couple of how many buses you've jumped. We'd have had some proper responses.
Yeah.
If you want to come up to a punchline, if you can beat Jimmy Carr at his own dream. So what's the setup again?
So
Gareth?
it was, I can hold 2 pieces of meat at once.
Yes,
the
and
stakes
then
are
you need a
even.
punchline, right?
Yeah,
but
here's
keep
the-
it clean. We can't
Yeah,
read it
no.
out if it's about.
can't
Well,
read
you
filth.
know.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'm quite excited. Why am I quite excited? Well, I'll tell you why. Because Gareth, our lovely Gareth, is about to premiere his Christmas song, and me and Emily are on the bells. Have you got your bells ready?
Yeah, I got me bells.
Okay, so this is Gareth with Christmas Calm Down.
That's right. That's the sound of the omnichord. It's the feeling that comes the same time each year. After the presents and the Christmas cheer, it's supposed to be cozy and quintessential, but now you feel hollow and existential. Santa watches TV like a slob. Rudolph treats himself to a nose job. After the excitement of Christmas morning, Frosty tries to hide from global warming. It's the Christmas come down, makes you want to down a gallon of sherry. scary and drown. When you feel the melancholy setting in, eat about 40 biscuits, then open another tin. It's the Christmas come down, because everything is bleak. At the end of the day, it's just another day of the week. Especially if you're an atheist, a Jew or a Sikh. Your presents are rubbish, no one took a hint. The wrapping paper adds to your carbon footprint. Your family just sits around and sigh. You didn't see them last year, now you remember why. You make a mental note of gifts to take back. Either Grandad's snoozing or he's had an attack. This year no angels have appeared, except to Auntie Glad, but she's a bit weird. It's the Christmas come down, more depressing than the smell of your dad's dressing gown. When you feel like you're losing the will to live, don't take the pills, Christmas is the time to give. It's the Christmas come down, because possessions can't satisfy. Or maybe for a bit, but they're pointless when you die. It's the Christmas come down, when Jesus came down to earth. It's the time of year that we celebrate the virgin birth. Sorry, I got that bit wrong. Do that again. It's the time of year when you celebrate the absolute birth.
Oh, a star is born. How marvellous.
I love that, Gareth.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is a bit of an emotional moment on the Frank Skinner Absolute Radio show, because I feel I am having a limb removed. Gareth is about to say goodbye.
Yes.
Timing as impeccable as it has been.
Oh, was that me?
The previous 2 years.
What a drip. No,
Yeah, the drip has finally been stopped. I told that plumber.
No, I've decided to leave the show. It's been a really difficult decision, but I'm at a point where I think I need to concentrate on my stand-up comedy. I know, and no. So goodbye. I'd like to make a speech.
That wasn't it.
No,
There's more.
That was premature.
Sorry.
If you can put that on loop. Does it go on repeat? You'd know how to work the desk by now.
Yeah, I've worked that out. 2 years. Gee.
I want to hear the speech because I might be mentioned.
Okay, let's do it.
Oh,
I'm really hoping that you're a very noticeable absentee.
I can be oh no. I'd like to just thank everyone on the show for having me. Thank you, Frank. It's been such an amazing opportunity. Like, when you start off, I'm going to be serious, okay?
Oh God!
I know you're going to say no change there, but it's so difficult starting comedy. You feel like a drop in the ocean, and for someone to help you, a drip in the ocean, and for someone to support you in the way that you have and had me on the show, it's been absolutely amazing.
Oh God, I'm going.
Been an incredible.
I'm slipping away.
An incredible comedy apprenticeship.
Mascara's £18 a shot.
And
I've got that petrichor moment when my eyes are watering.
I know you've fought for me to be on the show at times. No, you'll grow on people. Don't worry, you'll grow on people. So thank you so much. It's been an incredible experience.
Well, I'm starting to think now we should have just not mentioned it and got someone else playing Gareth next week, like they did with Lucy in Neighbours. Maybe Melissa Bell could have come in. What do you think, Gareth? Well, I was saying to Laura the other week. Well,
Down at Lassiter's.
Sounds like Melissa Bell.
Emily, you've been the good-looking big sister I never had. Thank you so much for looking after me. Like you look after everyone. You're such a lovely person.
I'd have said mother.
Mother?
You were still, even at this stage, you were frightened to say mother.
Gutted like a pig. No, it's the big sister I've never had, and bossing me around, pulling my hair.
Are you sure this isn't a bit of an over-response to just one appearance on Russell Howard? I don't you to think now it's just easy all the way. There are ups and downs in this crazy old world of show business.
I'd like to thank the people who laugh in the background. Emma, you've been amazing. Daisy sent a lovely text explaining it, and Rosanna. Thank you, everyone. And most of all, I'd like to thank the listeners. 339, you've been amazing. 278, 131.
131 has just texted in. Sorry to see you go, Gareth. It's been a lot of fun.
It's been a lot of fun at last.
Miss you most of all, 131. 450, 611. 533. Oh, 670.
Well, I'm surprised you mentioned 670 after the incident.
We'll miss you so much, Gareth.
Under the bridge.
No, we will miss you, Gareth. At least we'll always have
Saturday morning,
which I think we might keep with your permission as an eternal jingle. Well, it is quite. It's an emotional moment, but you're basically saying that you're leaving to spend more time with your family. It's usually it's a super injunction.
No one's allowed to talk about why I'm really going.
No, don't say that, or people will think it's going to be something.
No, it has.
Anyway, Gareth, despite this emotional farewell, will be on Not the Weekend podcast available. It's a bit like, when you've been on holiday and made friends with someone, you give them a big hug at the airport, and then they're at the taxi rank. Yeah, it's like that. But we will miss you terribly.
We really will.
We've been here from the beginning, and we've sort of, it is like a little family. So it's terrible. But hey, we'll still. We'll come and see your show and make remarks.
We might even come to Bournemouth.
I'm not committing.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.